So yesterday we started with the micro bodies and completed it. Today I told you that I'll start nucleus and we'll finish the chapter most probably. Okay, we'll start the class. So if you talk about nucleus, certain things that you need to know. The first thing that you need to know is it is the controlling center of the plant. I mean the controlling center of the cell. Discovered in 1831 by Robert Brown. It is the storehouse of hereditary information. Okay. This was proposed by a scientist who is called as Joachim Hammerling in the year 1953. So almost after 100 years only we found out that it is having something called something connected with the genetic material. Okay. So they are the largest of cell organelles. Okay, because you will be able to see them very distinctly. In any cell, you will be able to see the nucleus very prominently. Okay, so quickly take down these points. You have a cell, I mean like RBCs do not have nucleus. Someone is asking me a question, without a nucleus there is no cell. No, there are cells in your body which will not have nucleus. In your blood cells you have RBC and then like platelets. Both platelets as well as RBCs will not have nucleus. Okay, if you are done, you let me know so that I can proceed further. Okay, so let us now move on further. So occurrence in all cells except RBC of mammals, sieve tube elements, of plants, uh, platelets of mammals, present in all cells except these cells. Okay, so you can write this thing. So in these cells, you do not have nucleus. In eukaryotes, nucleus has a defined nuclear membrane. In prokaryotes, the nuclear membrane is absent. Okay, quickly take down. I think here there I have made a mistake. Just a second. I don't know. The textbook is giving me a different spelling. I thought it was RANC. So, yeah, Briju, go ahead with this thing quickly. If you're done, you please let me know quickly. I have shown this first slide. Some children wanted it. Second slide. Third slide. Shape. varies between cell to cell. So it will vary between cell and cell. So then you have your the common shapes are spherical, cuboidal, ellipsoidal, discoidal, irregular. It can be any shape, like a sphere, like a cube, like a ellipse, like a disc, irregular. Okay, the size depends on the content. The largest nucleus about 10 to 20 micrometer. Okay, so this is about the shape and number, shape and size. Now let us try to move on. Number, it can be uninucleate, one nucleus, most cells, or it can be a binucleate, two nucleus, in paramecium, liver cells, cartilage cells. All these cells will have two nucleus. Then you have polynucleate. The polynucleate condition is many nucleate. Okay, most xenocytic organisms. You guys know what is xenocytic cells, no? I have introduced this term to you already. Do you remember what is xenocytic cell? Yeah, in a fungi, it's not just about fungi cell. It can be any cell where it is like kind of like not septate, like multiple things are joined together. Okay, non-septate is like, okay, aseptate you can say when multiple cells are like kind of like aggregated together without a cell wall, we see that as a polynucleate condition. Okay, so then you have anucleate, no nucleus. The examples are RBC, platelets, C elements. These things will not have what? These things will not have nucleus. So just some random examples for you to understand that. Nothing conceptual here. Just some memory oriented things. Yes, osteoclast is also polynucleate. You can talk about osteoclast. Osteoclasts are bone cells. They will have like approximately 5 nucleus. We will come to nucleolus. We are just now going to see about nucleolus and all those parts. Just wait for the end of the class. You'll be knowing by the end of the class. Okay. So now we are going to see about the structure. The next thing that we are moving on is the structure. Erythrocytes is blood cell. Yes, right. Erythrocytes and RBCs are the same. Hey, just a second, man. Wait for a while. Just a second. Hold on. So now we'll move on to the structure. While talking about the structure, we need to draw some diagram. So let us draw it also quickly. Okay, so inside that you will see this. Okay, so now let us try to uh, start naming these things. Okay, so let us start with the inner one. The inner one is nucleoplasm. This one is your euchromatin. This is called as heterochromatin. These two things together we call it as chromatin fibers. This green color structure is your nucleolus. Okay, so this is the inner nuclear membrane. This is your outer nuclear membrane. In between you have that red color, that is your perinuclear space. So let me just put a small dot here so as to you are able to understand it. This white color opening is called as nuclear pore. Okay. So these are all parts, and this is your endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, so are you guys done with the diagram? I will explain. I'll explain things. Just draw the diagram now. Are you guys done with the diagram? Okay, so now children, let us like now move on. So now I'll start explaining. Okay, so when you're talking about this nucleus, okay, I'll use this diagram and then like I'll start writing here. So the first parts, the parts of a nucleus, there are four major parts of a nucleus. The first one is what we call it as nuclear envelope. Okay, the second thing is nucleoplasm. And the third thing is chromatin network. And the fourth thing is nucleolus. Okay, so you have four parts. One is what we call it as the nuclear envelope, nucleoplasm, chromatin network, and nucleolus. So now let us try to study about this nuclear envelope. Nuclear envelope is the covering basically, or the nuclear membrane. Okay, so we need to know what are the components of this particular thing. What is that you are able to see is, you are able to see that it is made up of how many membranes? Two membranes are making it. Okay, so what are the two membranes? Inner membrane and outer nuclear membrane. So you can start writing here. So the nuclear membrane is composed of two layers. One is inner membrane and the second one is outer membrane. So this is the nuclear envelope. We are now studying about envelope. So what is that you're seeing here again? In between that thing, what you're able to see, you're able to see something called as a perinuclear space. The gap between the two membranes is called as what? Perinuclear space. Okay. So this is the second point. And then the third thing that you're able to see here is you're seeing some openings. Some small openings are there. What is that we call them as? We call them as nuclear pore. Okay. The third one, there are places where there is no membrane. These openings are called as nuclear pore. Okay, so I have introduced you to the word nuclear pore. I have introduced you to your perinuclear space. I have introduced you to inner membrane and outer membrane. Okay, so this is what is the thing. So what is the role of this nuclear pore? The nuclear pore allows the movement of substances inside and outside the nucleus. So the nuclear pore will allow the movement of substances inside and outside the nucleus. So this is what is nuclear envelope. The nuclear envelope, you need to write about all these things. Okay, so quickly write it. Yes, nuclear pore is completely permeable. It is open. Okay. So once this is done, so we'll move on further. The second one, we have completed nuclear envelope. So now what we will move on is, we'll move on to the nucleoplasm. Okay. What is nucleoplasm? It is the fluid which is present, which is contained inside this nucleus. Okay. So what is nucleoplasm? It is the fluid present inside the nucleus. Okay. It contains nucleolus, chromatin network, proteins, RNA, enzymes, etc. So all these things are present inside the nucleoplasm. Okay. It is like a gel-like matrix. So this is what is the next thing. Okay, so with this thing we have completed with the nucleoplasm also. Let us finish off nucleolus and then come to the chromatin network, because chromatin network has like lots of information. Let us just finish off nucleolus first. So what is nucleolus? You're able to see this green color structures here. This green color structure is what we call it as nucleolus. Okay, what is nucleolus? It is a site where ribosomal RNA are synthesized. Okay, so it is a site where your ribosomal RNA is. Ma, I'll show you all these people who are asking for 8th slide. You please wait. I am running short of time. I'll show you at the end of the thing. You can click a picture. Okay. If I keep showing you the slides, I'll be like only showing and I'll not complete the chapter. So it is a site where ribosomal RNA is synthesized, are synthesized. So ribosomes also are made up of some RNA which are called as ribosomal RNA. We'll try to study in biomolecules chapter about all these RNA types and all. Okay. So now, as of now, what you understand is, you understand that ribosomes are made from this nucleolus, which means the structural components of ribosomes are going to be made at this particular uh, nucleolus. It is oval or spherical in shape. It is dark and obviously seen. Okay. It contains DNA, RNA, in large quantities. Which means inside that nucleolus, what will be there? Lots of DNA will be there. That is what I am trying to tell. Okay. Nucleolus is comparatively large and numerous. In actively dividing cells, in actively protein synthesizing cells. What is the meaning of it? So whenever a cell is producing more amount of proteins, no, so then there is a need for ribosomes to be produced at many multiple quantities. So what is the role of nucleolus? Nucleolus is going to be the one which is going to produce the ribosome. So if you want protein, you need ribosomes. If you need ribosomes, you need nucleolus. So whenever the protein production is more, the ribosome is more. The ribosomal requirement is more. When the ribosomal requirement is more, the nucleolus will be more. Whenever the protein production is less, the ribosome requirement is less. If the ribosome requirement is less, naturally what will happen? The nucleolus content will be less. Are you guys able to understand? The number of nucleolus inside a nucleus is dependent on how actively the cell is producing protein. Are we able to understand? Is it clear? You are having some small structures called as nucleus, which are spherical in nature. They will contain inside it some DNA. The DNA which is responsible for producing ribosomes. Okay, so DNA which is responsible for producing ribosomes. The number of, it basically is dark and it is obviously seen whenever you are seeing a cell inside the nucleus, you will be able to point out the nucleolus very easily. Okay, you can see that nucleolus is like seen very obviously, it is seen. Okay, and then like what does it contain? It will contain DNA and RNA in larger quantities. Okay, and then like nucleolus is a large and numerous, and usually the nucleolus is large and it is numerous. In which cells? In actively protein synthesizing cells. Okay, nucleons are smaller part of nucleus. Smaller DNA fragments. So now let us, ribosome is produced only by nucleolus. Yes, I mean like nucleolus produces rRNA and rRNA makes ribosome. Actually, these are the components which are going to make what? Ribosome. This rRNA is produced by nucleolus. So when rRNA is produced by nucleolus, this will go and make this thing. So this is like the building. This is like the stone which is making the building. So this nucleolus is the structure that makes stone. So if you consider rRNA as a stone and ribosome as a building, nucleolus is the structure that makes the stone. Is it clear? RBCs will not have proteins at all. I mean, like it will be having proteins, but RBC is only full of hemoglobin molecules, nothing else. Cytoplasm and hemoglobin molecules. RBCs do not have mitochondria. RBCs do not have cellular organelles. Okay, RBC is just cytoplasm filled with hemoglobin. So next one, moving on further. So the last one is the chromatin material. So we have completed this also. Now we are going to see the chromatin network. Chromatin network is complex. Okay, so let me just try to tell you. Okay, chromatin network, it is made up of chromatin fibers. What is chromatin fibers? Okay, chromatin fibers is nothing but, I don't know what is mitosomes. I think you should concentrate here on what I'm teaching and then rather than Googling things and then like studying it there. Chromatin fibers are DNA with proteins. These proteins are called as histones. Okay. So I will just try to tell you what is the case. You have something called as a chromatin network which is there in your body. Okay. So now you need to understand you have this DNA. Okay. It is this DNA that is packed into chromosomes. Okay. You need to understand something. So whenever you are talking about a cell, okay, in the natural state, the cell will not contain chromosomes. It will contain only chromatin network. This we call it as a chromatin network. Okay, but whenever a cell is going to divide, it will be organized into chromosomes. Okay, so normally, let me explain, just listen to me for some time, you will understand it. Okay, so whenever you are like talking about normally existing cells, the normally existing cells are present in the form of chromatin network. It will be like kind of like loosely packed. Okay, but whenever a cell is going to divide, it is going to be condensed into a form which is called as chromosome. So now let me tell you an example. Okay, so say for example, you are having some information, okay, which is present in like say some like 100 pages. It is there. Okay, you want to give this particular thing to one more person. Okay, you need a copy and you need to give it to someone else. So then what you try to do is you try to take a photocopy of these 100 pages. Once you take a photocopy of these 100 pages, it will be 200 pages. Okay, so this 200 pages, let us say that it is like kind of lying down all around. Will you be able to give it just like that? Okay, you take 100 papers, some random 100 papers, you just like, you cannot give it that way. You need to organize it and then you have to see that both of them are getting the same copies. So what you try to do is you try to put it inside a file, one, again like you have a file two, you organize this 1 to 100 here, you try to organize this 1 to 100 here, and then you can separate this file 1 and file 2 between two people. Okay, so that is what is happening here. Normally this 100 page is in usable form, that is your chromatin network. Whenever your cell is using it actively protein synthesis is happening, it will be like kind of using those 100 pages. It will not be kept as a file. It will be like kind of like mixed and matched open together. So in such a case, it is chromatin network. But when the cell is going to divide, let us say that one cell is there. From this one cell, you are going to get two cells. This is called a cell division. So when the cell division is going to happen, it will multiply the genetic content. And after multiplying, what it will try to do is it will try to organize it into two files, which we call it as chromosome. A chromosome is an organized structure. And what will happen after that? The chromosome will be divided properly between these two things. Okay, so this organized structure is what we call it as chromosome. So the chromatin network and chromosome is the same, but what is the difference between the two? The chromatin network is loosely packed, the chromosome is tightly packed. Okay, are we able to understand? Is that clear, whatever I have told you? Are you understanding the difference between what is chromatin network and chromosome? So we will continue it tomorrow and then we will try to complete this chapter. I don't think I'll be able to complete it today. I still have lots of information to share. So tomorrow's class, we'll try to, yeah, chromatin network is loosely packed structure and chromosomes are tightly packed structure. Both are the same. Okay, so anyways, I will try to continue with chromatin network tomorrow. I'll try to teach you first. You just write this point alone. I will try to complete it tomorrow. Okay, now we'll see all the slides. Slide number 1. Chromatin network is also called as chromatin reticulum. Both are the same. Chromatin reticulum, chromatin network is the same when it is present in the loose format. The chromatin network or chromatin reticulum will condense to form chromosomes. Second slide. Third slide. Fourth slide. Fifth slide. Sixth slide. Seventh slide. Eighth slide. Ninth slide. 10th slide. And the last one. Okay, thank you, children. Sir, class முடிஞ்சிருச்சு. 10th first.